Hey there, everybody. It's 8:01 on our Sunday. I'm meteorologist Keith Gibson here in the First Alert Weather Center. Thank you for joining the stream, and we will be talking about the upcoming unsettled weather for Monday and Tuesday over the next couple of minutes. In case you've missed it, we are anticipating a couple of rounds of showers and storms in the region tomorrow, and also a bigger threat for some stronger storms late Tuesday evening. We enjoyed the weekend for the most part, right? We had a somewhat quiet weekend overall, but we did have some thunderstorms late yesterday and yesterday evening. Some of us got a pretty good soaking and a lot of lightning. A little bit of hail in parts of our area, more so back to the west. But let's talk about where we are right now. Clouds increasing. You can see from our Shawano Skycam that we have basically cloudy skies right now, and that is going to be the trend for the rest of tonight. As we go ahead and look at First Alert Viper Max, let's check this out. Let me bring this up full screen here. There you go. We have a little bit of wet weather trying to move on in, and you can see that showing up here, but it is not reaching the ground because we have very dry air in place right now. There could be a few sprinkles around here, but at this point we're looking at a pretty quiet evening. So that's where we stand. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments and I'll try to answer your questions here. Now I do want to show you where we are going for tomorrow morning. I've highlighted areas out in the Dakotas. Let me pop myself up here so you can see me. I've highlighted an area out towards South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa. It's pretty void of activity right now, but that should fill in a little bit tonight and then move our way for tomorrow morning. So we'll have some rain, some thunder around tomorrow morning. It does not look like we're going to have a lot of strong or severe weather tomorrow morning, but we will have temperatures in the 50s. There's going to be some rain and storms around, but we think they should be generally below severe limits, but there could be some decent downpours here for the first part of our Monday. We'll time that out with predictor here in just a split second. So that is one thing we're watching. There's a big complex of storms down by Wichita, Kansas. Now, this is also going to have a little bit of an influence on our weather tomorrow, but we'll see how things go because the track of what evolves out of this area of low pressure and the storm complex, there's going to be this thing that's called like an MCV, a mesoscale convective vortex. It's a little swirl in the atmosphere that will be moving towards Chicago or Milwaukee late tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon. And that will be the driver of some stronger storms somewhere in the region tomorrow afternoon. At this point, I think the higher odds of some strong storms on Monday afternoon would be to our southeast. But if the thing that evolves out of this tracks a little farther north, it could spread a better chance for some stronger storms our way. And there could also be a few other pop-up showers and storms tomorrow afternoon, even to the northwest of whatever evolves out of this. So two things we're watching, some storms that will build in later tonight, tomorrow morning, and then the remnants of that thing in Kansas could give rise to some stronger storms in the region tomorrow. And that is why the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted this level 2 severe weather risk from Milwaukee to Chicago for tomorrow, really tomorrow afternoon, because of that remnant low that will come out of Kansas, could drive some stronger storms in southeastern Wisconsin. For our area, we remain in this level 1 for the Fox Valley, the Lakeshore, which just means that there's not a lot of widespread severe weather that is expected, but there could be a strong storm or two with some wind and hail, much like yesterday. And farther to the north woods, the UP, not looking at anything strong or severe at this time. So that is our Monday. We'll watch that system come on in the afternoon, and of course we'll have some rain and storms around. So at this point, our severe weather outlook for Monday is low. We still have Monday as a First Alert weather day because we're watching the storms in the morning, and we'll just have to see how things evolve in the afternoon. Not totally forgetting about anything during the day on Monday, but we'll just have to watch it. Now, Tuesday, we have a moderate risk for severe weather, really geared towards Tuesday evening. Most of the day probably won't be too terribly active, but by the evening, we really need to watch from about 6, 7 o'clock through about midnight or 1 a.m., somewhere in that window. There's likely going to be a line of very strong storms that will sweep on through the entire state, and that will affect us here in northeastern Wisconsin. There's going to be some damaging wind potential, some hail, some heavy rain. Also an isolated tornado threat here, and we haven't had a setup like this in so long. that it just seems like it will never happen again. But this is a pretty decent setup for severe weather. Not all of the ingredients are going to be robust to produce the biggest event you've ever seen, but we will have some ingredients around and a cold front coming on through, and we'll see how things go. But I think Tuesday evening we could have a pretty good line of storms rip on through here. So we'll have to just watch out and see how things evolve as we get into Tuesday evening. Because of that higher end threat for storms on Tuesday, we have this level 2 and level 3 severe weather threat across the entire state of Wisconsin that stretches even up into the UP. So storms will fire first to our southwest in Iowa and Missouri, and then track to the northeast. They'll get into southwestern Wisconsin and eventually our area by the evening Tuesday. So that would be a bigger cause of concern. Not that we're blowing off Monday. There still could be some activity on the stronger side, but it looks like Tuesday will have a more promising severe weather threat here. So let me, my producer's calling me right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, this volume down on my phone. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the timeline here with Predictor. I've started the clock at 11 o'clock, and right now, pretty quiet for the rest of the evening. As we get into tomorrow morning's commute, the activity that is expected to blossom across Minnesota later on tonight should be in here. I'm expecting some rain and some storms for the Monday morning commute. Some of us will be wet before others, but at some point we'll all have a pretty decent chance for some wet weather during the morning. This is 6:30. Let's roll to about noon. Still some rain and storms around. Now, notice the heaviest activity being depicted by this one run of First Alert Pinpoint Predictor is a little bit more focused down towards Fond du Lac and southeastern Wisconsin. That could be associated with that remnant low, the one in Kansas, that could be coming into southeastern Wisconsin. So we'll be watching out for that during the early to mid-afternoon hours. This is 4 o'clock, and really focused towards the southeastern counties and far southeastern Wisconsin. If you live north and west, you don't see a lot here, but I can't rule out some isolated showers and storms popping up during the day, and we're just hedging the bet, and we'll just see if we can't get anything to pop. And if something does pop, there could be a localized local strong storm or two out there. So just be aware of that for our Monday. Some 60s and 70s. Now going into our Monday evening, it looks like a pretty quiet evening overall. We'll be cooling down into the 60s and 50s. We'll have pretty tame weather would appear at this point on the backside of whatever happens during the day. There could even be areas of fog and some low clouds here Tuesday morning with temperatures in the 50s. Now when you wake up Tuesday, it's not going to be too terribly warm. And you're probably thinking, well, geez, it's not too warm, it's not too humid, it's not going to be a big stormy day. And most of the day on Tuesday won't be. We're going to be waiting for a warm front that will be coming in from the south. And this one, the predictor is picking up on that. So by midday or into the afternoon, that warm front's going to start to nudge northward. And we'll likely start to see at least a little bit of activity try to form. This is likely not going to be strong or severe. But there could be some wet weather initially during the early to mid-afternoon hours on Tuesday. Temperatures will gradually be warming into the 60s and 70s on Tuesday afternoon, a little bit breezy southeasterly winds. And then as we get into the evening, all right, so after 6, 7 o'clock, we'll be watching southwestern Wisconsin first, and then whatever happens there will be coming our way. So this is 8 o'clock. This is just one computer model, but it has a consensus with several others that are more or less showing the same story. A batch of rain and storms coming our way during Tuesday evening. So this is going to be some sort of a line or a complex of storms, and there could be some damaging wind in this. Again, the isolated tornado threat, hail, and very heavy rainfall, and a lot of lightning most likely. This will be coming on in from the southwest and then racing to the northeast. And if we do have a southeast wind that will continue during this event, that could allow some of these storms to spin a little bit. So that is why I have that isolated tornado threat in the forecast here for Tuesday evening. There could be some spin potential. There's actually some decent amount of wind in the atmosphere on Tuesday that could drive some of these storms too. So damaging wind and heavy rainfall, pretty good bet, some hail, and again, an isolated tornado threat here for Tuesday evening. So we'll be watching out for this. We'll be out of here after midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So that will be in, it'll be out. We're going to have about a 6-hour window here. So there could be some power outages. There could be some wind damage here on Tuesday evening. We'll just have to wait and see. It's been a while since we had a big weather event here that has produced sizable damage on a widespread scale. I'm not saying it's going to happen this time. Every event's different. We just have to wait and see how it evolves. But this is a pretty decent setup for some strong storms. So we want to give you that first alert and make sure you are prepared for it. And we'll just ride it out together here Tuesday evening. So that will go away. And then on the back side of it, we're going to have some breezy conditions on Wednesday, probably gusty winds, and will allow some drier air to build back in here. It's going to be relatively humid the next 2 days, and we'll have the rain and storms, and then we'll dry out the atmosphere as we get into the middle of the week on Wednesday. Some lingering showers northwest of the valley on Wednesday, but most of our rain that we're going to get, perhaps 1 to 3 inches here through Tuesday night. This is going to fall either tomorrow or Tuesday night, and not so much on Wednesday. And we'll dry things out later this week. And if you're concerned about the holiday weekend forecast coming up next weekend, I have a little teaser here at the end of my presentation, so just stay tuned for that. But we'll concentrate on the near term first. Now, our dew points right now, very comfortable. The air's been very, very dry. It was a little bit humid yesterday as those storms were beginning to butt on up. A cold front moved through, dry the atmosphere out today. Actually had a great weekend, aside from about 7 to 11:30 yesterday when we had some of those storms around the region. But the dew points are low. And I want to show you the future dew point forecast for tomorrow. We will gradually moisten up the atmosphere. So yeah, we're expecting a couple of inches of rain here. And we need to moisten up the atmosphere. And to get that, we need to drive the dew points higher and higher. So it looks like we'll have dew points creep back into the 60s tomorrow. And it's going to be a little bit more humid by the afternoon. And then we may dip down a little bit going into our Tuesday morning, but the dew points will climb back up into the 60s late in the day into Tuesday evening, and that will help feed the storms going into Tuesday evening and Tuesday night. So a couple of waves of moisture, a couple of waves of storms, and then the cold front will slice on through here Wednesday morning early and then dry out the atmosphere again, so our dew points will fall back into the 40s starting Wednesday, and the rest of the work week is going to be pretty dry as far as humidity goes. So here's the big picture. We have the storms and the rain coming in late tonight, tomorrow morning. This will be with that first system. And then we'll have the second one come on in as we get into Tuesday evening right there. And that's going to be with a bigger area of low pressure, more energy, and that will drive that cold front through the area Tuesday evening. So it's a big storm system. It's going to take 2 days to get on through here. We have a couple of chunks of energy spiraling through, and we'll have one tonight, tomorrow morning, and then maybe one tomorrow afternoon, and then the big one would be late Tuesday and Tuesday evening. All right, so that's where we are headed, folks. Tonight, down into the 50s. We're looking at a fairly quiet next couple of hours. The atmosphere will moisten up a little bit late, and we'll have a chance for some showers and storms late by tomorrow morning for some of us for the commute, and we'll have some rain and storms around tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the low 70s, we think, by the afternoon here once the rain starts to simmer down a little bit going into the early afternoon. So we'll have the first batch and then a little bit of a break, and then we'll see if we can't get anything to redevelop in the afternoon. 60s and 70s around here, cooler lakeside and across the North Woods. I think a little bit warmer from Green Bay south and west. We're back into the 70s here. So that is what we're thinking about for tomorrow. So, okay, so our 7-day shows where we are headed here tomorrow and Tuesday, first alert weather days. A breezy, a little bit drier on Wednesday, a few showers, especially to the northwest of the valley. Your Thursday, Friday looking good if you want to jumpstart the holiday weekend on Friday. It doesn't look too bad at this point. Now, I would say our forecast confidence is very high through Thursday. Iffy on Friday, still trending okay. But there's some timing discrepancies regarding the holiday weekend. Right now, I have a chance for some rain and thunder on Saturday, a little bit drier on Sunday. Let me show you our holiday weekend outlook here. This would be for next Friday at 4 o'clock. And this is the European model, and that's what I'm going with right now. But there are some timing differences, and discrepancies between this one and the American GFS model, but we'll go with this for now and assume Friday is going to be pretty decent, but there will be some sort of a boundary, a frontal boundary coming on in Saturday at this point, and that's why I have a chance for some showers or thunder. The American model is a little bit faster. I think it wants to bring in the rain on Friday versus Saturday. So somewhere in there, there's likely going to be some wet weather, and we just have to adjust the timing just a little bit. This is showing some quieter weather for Sunday, and then maybe another shot at some rain or some thunder perhaps on Monday, depending on another boundary that could be moving on through here. So that would be next weekend, the holiday weekend, if you are concerned about that. So that is the current thinking here as far as weather for the next week, including the upcoming holiday weekend. That's what we are thinking. And just to reiterate, we are expecting some rain and some storms to build back in later on tonight. First, with the activity down to the southwest of our area, or to the west of our area, and then also we'll be watching out for this area of disturbed weather down in Kansas that could spark some storms tomorrow afternoon. And then what happens after that is just going to be a wait-and-see game for Tuesday. So hopefully you enjoyed the discussion here and got some extra insight into what we're watching. These storms that we're monitoring are all going to be based on the evolution and how they evolve tonight, and that will determine what we get tomorrow, and what happens tomorrow evening to our west and southwest will determine how Tuesday is going to evolve here as we get into the second day of this 2-day weather event. So a couple of days with some stronger storms around here. That's what we're monitoring, and of course we'll have the very latest on the newscast tonight. I'm waiting for some new information to trickle on in. We'll have that at 10. Steve Balon's in tomorrow morning with the update and tracking the activity tomorrow morning. And of course, we'll have another set of data come on in over the next 24 hours to pinpoint the timing and specifics for Tuesday. So definitely stay up on the weather situation through us here on the TV side, the First Alert Weather app, and just stay connected with us here on social media as well, and we will keep you informed. So with that, we'll bid you a good Sunday night, and hopefully you had a good weekend, and we'll see you later on.